Welcome to Chrysalis Invictus. This is your full moon in Sagittarius reading. So we're going to take a look at life, love, career. So just general messages for your life in relating to this full moon. Maybe what you're releasing, maybe what it's bringing in. And then messages for your love life and messages for your career or your work life. All right, so let's take a look at the overall oracle message for your life in this period or at this time. Okay, so something that's coming in for you is patience. This to me feels like very much like the image that there's this sense of gliding or this moving through space without hitting a lot of obstacles. Simplifying, there we go. So there's patience and simplification happening in your life at this time. So whatever you're releasing, I feel like you're releasing complications. But you're also bringing in and cultivating this sense of, it's like ease and grace and elegance keeps coming up. So whatever elegance means for you. I feel that there's very much been challenges in the past, and that's sort of where you're leaving them, and that's where you're keeping them. So let's take a look at what other messages. We have the Dreaming Way Tarot. What other messages are there for life, this full moon? Tell us about this Patience card. Okay, so we have the Nine of Wands reverse, the Three of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Chariot. Okay, so this is something... This is something that could be overwhelming if you don't pull back into this patience space. So if you try pushing forward, if you try forcing, you'll run into some resistance. Also, you're not going to be able to see what you have accomplished just yet. So whatever you have accomplished, it doesn't look the way it needs to look. It's sort of like a painting. If you show people your work of art too soon, it doesn't look the way it will. So you've definitely had a lot of information come in. You have a lot to consider, and this is sort of like pausing in that consideration without becoming self-conscious or defensive of whatever it is that you're developing at this time. So there's the Three of Cups reverse. This feels very much like whatever you are being patient about, it's important that you keep it to yourself. This is not a time for sharing. It is not yet where you need it to be or where it is going to be. And what it is a new beginning. A new foundation. So this could be something related to home. Maybe you're moving house and right now it looks kind of hopeless. It looks kind of like There's been a lot of struggle. There's been a lot of paperwork. Maybe you've put in some bids and it hasn't gone anywhere, or you've been looking for a place to live and it hasn't gone anywhere. And this is just saying it's not time yet. What you have available to you is not obvious to you. It's not on the surface. There's something that you can't see. There's something that you can't see, and there's something that you shouldn't, or it's not a good idea to talk about it yet. Yeah, like counting your chickens. But I see that if you slip into a place of this grace, of this ease, it's just going to make things nicer, easier for you. And then with the Chariot, to clarify the Three of Cups, making your own choices, that is super, super key. So if you are bringing to the table, let's say you're wanting to do a full moon ritual, for instance, and you're going by the book, you're going by someone you follow on Instagram who talks about what you should do for the full moon. First of all, there's no should. But also you're going to move forward with this new beginning in such a stronger way if you are making this decision, if you are deciding your ritual, if you are deciding what this moon means for you, or what, this time means for you. This has, this is your life. This is not someone else's life. Let's get more clarification on what this Ace of Pentacles might be. What is this Ace of Pentacles? Whoa, too many cards. Way too many cards. What might this Ace of Pentacles be? Oh, jeez. Okay. Wow. Okay, so it's something quite powerful with all the cards that turned over. This is something, this is a brand new beginning that involves a new way of living. Like something that you've never experienced before. So maybe living in a different kind of home or in a different kind of way. I see you making a choice, but I see you making it something that's not traditional, something that deviates from the norm. Okay, so part of what you're waiting for here is for the Wheel of Fortune to turn. So I've explained this before, but if this is your first time on my channel, with the Wheel of Fortune, it represents the 4 fixed energies of the zodiac. I can do this. It's Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus. I'm missing an element. And Leo. There we go. Okay. So that may mean something to you. It might not. But the point is that a fixed energy only replaces itself with a fixed energy. It only jumps from fixed energy to fixed energy. So where with the mutable signs, we see the ability to shift through spaces that are unlike the space that you've come from. With this fixed energy, you are only going to be able to create this new beginning when the needs that are currently being met are met in that new situation, if that makes sense. So you will have to replace whatever security you feel now with a similar level of security. You're not going to be able to take a hit on that. It's going to be that plus more. But I also see that because this is not a traditional choice that you're making or a decision that you're making, maybe it's something that deviates from, you know, familial tradition, or it's something that seems kind of radical in your friend group or circle, which is why we're keeping it to ourselves, why we're not really sharing it just yet. There is a certain amount of risk in this, but only in the sense that it is something that maybe hasn't been done this way before. So that's the Ace of Pentacles. Let's clarify the Chariot. So we have Cancer and Taurus energy represented here. Oh, wow. Okay. The Nine of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups. This is a wish come true. And you are choosing and moving in that direction. It's going to happen quite quickly after this sort of shakes down and breaks loose. I feel like there's just a turn of the wheel of fortune that you cannot particularly predict or control, because there are, you know, this is like different factors have to come together to make this work that are outside of the realm of what you can do. So what can you do? Let's maybe get what can you do besides being patient and keeping things to yourself? How can you help to move this along? Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups and the Page of Wands reversed. So avoid being impulsive. Again, avoid communicating about whatever this is. So being a certain amount of secretive and keeping it to yourself is almost going to store the energy for this new beginning. So that it's more potent when the time to go, when it's time and the horses are heading in the same direction. You've made that choice. You've decided. And here it's like, trust your intuition. And that's why we're not listening to others, is that you're trusting your intuition. The Queen of Cups also kind of has an ability to nurture something vulnerable. So I feel like wherever you're headed, there is some aspect of it at this time. This seed is quite vulnerable. And so being gentle and kind with it, it's almost like you can't nurture whatever this is directly. It's going to be different for different people, so that's why I'm not going to speak about it completely directly, but I do see that it has something to do with both material and emotional fulfillment. So something that you have been long awaiting. So this could be, again, you know, I'm really getting something about moving home, but it could be different from that. I don't want to get stuck in the same story because this is a general reading. But this is like financial independence, and this is almost an emotional independence in the sense that you have fulfilled your own emotional needs. And so that's what's coming in for you through whatever this is. So again, if it is moving home, it's like finding that right place that feels like home, that gives you fulfillment. And when you're sitting in your new home, you feel like, look, I did this for myself. I didn't need anybody else to do this for myself. Or when I say I didn't need anybody else, it's not about not getting help. It's just about you know, how you arrived, the work that you put into it, the satisfaction in yourself of how you got from there to here. And so you're doing this with this Queen of Cups energy. This feels like a deeply longed for and emotional journey. So something is coming to fruition that has been long awaited, that has been a very emotional process, and it feels like it's been tossed around quite a bit. There's been a lot of kind of disruption. Yeah, but with this Page of Wands, I really feel like you are strongly urged not to react. Again, this goes along with the Patience card. Try not to react. Try not to communicate too much about things. Try not to respond immediately to any kind of official emails. You know, sort of sit with things for a while. Sit with your emotions before you express them, or maybe don't express them just yet. Maybe it's not time, because you don't quite know how this is going to shake down or who the key players are. So that's another part of it, is that we're not entirely sure who the key players are. We know who they aren't. So you know who isn't involved in this, but you don't know who actually is. So taking that time and that patience. So I'm going to cut it off there. That is the life reading. Actually, maybe I'll pull some oracle cards. We'll just get you a few oracle cards for this. So, any advice for life relating to the Sagittarius full moon? So when I say this is a cycle, this is happening, either it's a rapid cycle around the full moon, or it's something that shakes down from full moon to full moon. We have Primrose. It says, youthful love. If I had a single flower for every time I think of you, I could walk forever in my garden. This is something you've been cooking up or dreaming of since, and working on since you were young. There's a lot of love and devotion to whatever this is for you. And that's the fresh energy. So the young energy here, the Page of Wands, came out reversed. And so there's a young energy to this, and that's why you are being urged to be patient and to not be impulsive and to sit with things, to not respond, to not react, to not tell people about things, to not share. So it's something useful, but something that you have to be quite mature in dealing with. Daffodil, rebirth and new beginnings, perfect. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. I do feel like you're sort of on the other side of a painful ending, like that may have already happened, but perhaps not for you. But it does sort of feel like you're in the stage of grief beyond that ending, because there's a certain sense of peace and tranquility to it. And then we have Sweet William, gallantry, grant me a single smile. Sweet William, small, has form and aspect bright, like the sweet flower that yields great Jove delight. Okay. So this is definitely, with your patience, with the energies that are coming in, you are being asked to be very, very intuitive, but also very aware of the little things, of the small things, of This is like getting down to a child's level and speaking eye to eye. This is it, you know, whatever the equivalent of that is for you. So it could be listening to children, honestly. It could be that Spirit speaks through children for you during this lunar cycle. I'm also seeing that this is kind of, to me, speaking of the small details being more important than the large details. So really pay attention. If any sort of contract comes across your desk, I mean, we are in Mercury retrograde for this whole cycle, so always be cautious of entering into something during a Mercury retrograde. But something about the small things, there's a key that it will make all the difference. This small, subtle shift or detail is going to make all the difference. Is there any way we can know what this small detail might be? Magic. Yeah, there's a certain element of the unknowable here. I think because of the Wheel of Fortune, there's an aspect of this that is total magic. It is an element that you could not predict, that you could not see, that's being taken care of by outside of yourself. So all you can really do is be patient and honor your magic and creativity, but without being active with it is really the message that I'm getting here. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. All right. So I will leave it there for the life message, and we'll get into the love message next. I think I did this format a different month. I'm not sure when. Last month. And I really liked having these 3 different sections. Although the life one seems really vague. Okay, let's get you. We have a love message for my viewers for this full moon. How's it affecting our love life? Wonders. Big mystery. I'm going to get another one. Wonders and enlightenment. All right, so something that is hidden in your love life is coming to the forefront. It's coming out to show itself. This is something that's been kind of floating in the periphery, something that's been kind of floating around the edges of your life. So maybe you only see it in dreams, or yeah, definitely there's someone who may be coming through in your dreams that may start to come in even stronger or even manifest. But we'll see. What can we know about wonders here, please? Okay, so we have the Magician. Ooh, the Empress. Wow. All right, so this is a potent time to manifest your partner. If you're interested in having children, this is a time to manifest the person that you are going to make children with, or to call them into existence in the periphery of your life. So if they're not already there, to start to dream them into existence, to start to believe that they exist out there in a real and tangible way. So you may have been asking for this person without a tangible sort of reality component to it. Like you may not have been in the right space for it, but the conditions are available to you to call in someone. The other thing I'm seeing is that there are two people putting each other on pedestals. They've each wished for each other. They have the tools that they need. What's keeping these two apart? So it's like admiring each other from a distance. The Six of Cups. This is a sweet, sweet love. So if you're asking about a person, if you identify as either the Magician or the Empress, okay, so this has been a slow-moving process with this other person, but you have sweet love. There's a lot of anxiety. Wow. If you're wondering about this person, first of all, this is the sweetest love. This is kind, and so if there isn't kindness being represented here, and you know that this person is capable of that, if there are crossed wires in terms of communication, I see that both of you are holding yourselves in some sort of anxious state or prison, where you're blinded to this connection. It could be that this element of slow-moving energy is part of where the anxiety came from. But underneath it all, we have this beautiful love. The Magician and the Empress, like, this is fertility. This is the ability to create together, the ability to love. Oh my gosh, this just popped out. With double Magician. All right, this full moon is a time to bring in your love. It is a time to call in your love. If you feel ready, now is the time. Let's take a look at this Enlightenment. Let me clarify the Enlightenment. Two of Swords reverse, which we had for the life portion. And the Queen of Wands, which we also had. So we have really echoing energies from life and love. So I feel like the life component, whatever you are manifesting in your life at this time that is different from your love life, is also connected to your love life. There's this, I feel that you and this person have been in a headlock almost. It's like what I'm seeing is two people holding each other's heads together, like forcing the foreheads together and then not being able to see each other. So you were so close that you could not see each other. And now I see you kind of taking a step back, this enlightenment, being able to see from a distance, to see from a different perspective. And this shifts the energy. And if you felt like there was a choice between two people, I think you're going to recognize that there wasn't a choice, that that was just an illusion, or that was just a way of protecting yourself from a deep connection. With the Queen of Wands, I really feel like the Queen of Wands here is reflective of the Magician energy and an echo of the Magician energy. We do have, Libra, Aries, and Libra, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo represented here in the feminine energy. I'm not really getting a clear of what the masculine might be. I'm hearing wild card. The masculine could be anything, but I am sort of feeling like I'm speaking to a fiery feminine energy. So the Queen of Wands, or who you're bringing in or who you're manifesting as a fiery feminine energy. The Queen of Wands, is manifesting right now with just a thought. So pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to how you are thinking of this other person. If you are still stuck in that space of like, whatever happened when your heads were so close together that you could not see each other, remember that that perspective is from that time where you could not see them. That you are in a prison of your own making, your own perspective. That those impressions are not valid moving forward. I'm going to clarify this Queen of Wands, please. King of Rods, Queen of Cups, Four of... Okay. I actually don't read these cards reversed, so... Alright, so we have the King of Rods, Divine Companion, the Queen of Cups, the Four of Wands. Okay. This is definitely a relationship that's in transition. Or this is a situation that is in transition. We had the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups come up on this side in the life portion as well. So again, there's this reflective energy of the message of life was not to talk to people about this situation. The Queen of Wands and the King of Rods, or the King of Wands, they're a sort of couple that anyone outside of this couple may not be able to objectively remark on this couple, in the sense that they don't quite understand how this works. It runs on something unknowable. It runs on a level of intensity that not many people can stand. And with the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Cups, I feel like this is such a divine and emotional connection that part of the passage, part of the transformation in this relationship is full abandon, full trust. Let go. Okay, so what is the advice? Nine of Swords. A lot of anxiety about this. Oh, interesting. Okay. Interesting. All right. So the advice that I'm getting for you here with the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords reversed is actually to, when you wake up with anxiety or when you wake up with worry about this or about your love life or about the person in your life, this is the time to start to manifest. This is the time to transmute or transform, transcend, all of the trans words. This is the time to start to work on that and to shift your perspective. Okay, because what I see you doing here is you wake up with this anxiety. Notice we have the 8 all the way to the 10 of Swords. Okay, so there is a very swift transition happening here where you are moving out of a space of anxiety in this relationship, and you may start to want to conceive of it as a real thing. So if there was an ending, if you thought that this was over, what would it be like for it not to be? You know, what if you drop this anxiety and this over-analyzing and recognized maybe you got some... Sorry, there's a truck. I live a block up from a grocery store, and so all of the deliveries happen early in the morning, which is when I try and film, so there's no lawnmowers. but we still get noise. All right, so what would it look like to maybe think of this as, and it's not even thinking, because you're meant to be in your heart space. Thinking is only going to hurt you more. What would it be like to drop into your heart space and allow this to be possible? But your most potent time of manifestation is whenever you're waking up during the night. So get up during the night. If you're doing a ritual, do your ritual then. If you're not doing a ritual, don't worry about it. Just a time to sit in your heart space and feel about this person. With the double magician, I do feel like there is a certain element of this relationship that is connected to your personal power, that's connected to your enlightenment. This is very much a time to bring in a divine counterpart, if that is something that you feel is coming your way or heading your way in your life. All right, let's get you some advice, some quotes. I see a number of different scenarios ranging from single to not single. Be cautious of the temptation to text someone in the middle of the night, or to make any kind of snap thought decisions or communications. That's really not going to serve you here. We have lilac. First emotions of love. Love is a magician that pulls man out of his own hat. Whoa, that sums up this entire reading. That right there sums up this entire reading. And lilac, they're in bloom right now. Amazing. What is this, you guys? Please tell me. Like, I feel two people who are wearing their patterns, but they know what their patterns are. I feel two people who have moved through. So whether you've met this person or not, this is someone who is very familiar to you from a past life, or it feels like you were children together. It feels like you've been young together. And there's a sweetness to this that feels young, which is strange in with the personalities that are involved. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of fiery energy with the personalities that are involved and the level of personal power that exists here. There could be a tremendous amount of ego, but I feel that there isn't. I feel people putting down their swords. I feel people holding up their wands for themselves. And coming into this time of, it's a new way of doing relationships for you. And that's what's coming in. That's what the energy is potent for at this time. So whether it's coming in or whether that's what you're working on asking for, envisioning, leave your thoughts out of it. Leave other people's opinions out of it. What you want is what you want, right? First emotions of love. Love is the magician. The magician. 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 This, I would even argue, the Empress with her fertility, magician, creation, new life, new opportunities. Moving ever forward. This is, embracing a flow. It may not be time to fully express emotions. Actions may be more important at this time if you're not able to say what you feel. Finding other ways to express love. I think I'm going to cut it off there for the love portion. We'll move into the career portion of this reading. But this is super cool. I'm happy for you. I also really love the feel of these Gleaming Way cards. They're so soft. I know you can't tell, but they're very soft. It's nice. It's nice to play with them. Okay, so let us look at what is going on in your work or career. Work or career for the full moon in Sagittarius. Voyage. Departure. I'm getting unforeseen bounty or opportunity, or someone taking you under their wing and developing a skill, or teaching you something, or grooming you for a promotion. Something bigger than you is going to lift you up. And we've got the full moon in the background. Voyage. This could be something kind of unexpected for you. We got unexpected, I think, in all areas. So that seems to be a theme. Let's take a look. What is this thing that is greater than you? It's bigger than you. Empress. Divine balance. In the Rider-Waite, I don't know if it is in this one. I guess it is. Yeah. This is an angel. Okay, so it represents, divine balance, things coming into balance because they must or because they have to, things that are working behind the scenes to create balance. So maybe you have been, undervalued, underrepresented, exploited in some way. And this feels like things coming right to an extent. I'm also drawn to the fact that there's so much water already. And you see how the water flows between cups in a sort of impossible way. And these are things that are impossible becoming possible because the divine hand is in it. But it's also rooted in how you are feeling emotionally. So it may seem counterintuitive, but it's important right now to check your emotions the most when it comes to your career. However you're doing emotionally is going to affect this the most. So if you are struggling right now, for instance, with your mental health, this is about getting counseling, having someone to talk to. This is about, if you are grieving or if you're going through something especially emotionally difficult, taking time away from whatever you are doing, from your work, to honor those emotions. So even though it may seem like, oh, I can't do that because, that would hurt my work, there's a way that it won't. That you have to deal with these things in order to come into this sort of next stage. And then we have the King of Wands who has come up. The King of Wands expresses a lot of confidence, and I think what this is about is not expressing false confidence. This is the kind of thing where you want to actually be confident, not just selling yourself, but being yourself, and in yourself being and feeling quite, kind of satisfied. You want to feel satisfied in yourself. That is going to be the departure. That is going to be the thing that lifts you up. So if you're wondering, how can I get promoted? How can I succeed or extend or ascend, or whatever word you want to use for this. It's through cultivating this natural sense of confidence. Okay, and the Nine of Wands reversed. We had that in the first part. No surprise here. All the readings are connecting. All right. Temperance with the Page of Pentacles is really talking about things that may not seem obvious are what are going to help you here. So, for instance, if you are if you start reading about something, whatever you're drawn to, okay? So let's say the work you're doing involves finance, okay? Let's say you're in the realm of finance. I don't know anything about it, but that's your job. But you are really drawn to read this book on, like, a fictional book about a fantasy land, or about, let's just go with that, like a fantasy novel. There is going to be something in that novel that is going to help you in your finance career. This is what I mean. It's not a direct route. It's a loopy, crazy situation. And this is really, to me, speaking of not pushing through exhaustion, not pushing through and faking that confidence, as I had said before. So if you are not confident, if you are exhausted, if you are not really feeling like your King of Wands self, like feeling powerful and potent, about acknowledging that this over here, your emotional self, needs to be balanced, and you can do that through... This could also be messages from your body. So studying something that's not obvious, also listening to your body, listening to your emotions. None of these things are, maybe what seems immediately rewarding in a career or helpful in a career, but they are. Okay, yeah, you're going to receive some kind of communication through this cycle. Tell me about this communication. This communication is an opportunity that has been previously hidden from you, or something that you didn't even admit you wanted, or didn't know to admit you wanted from yourself. Something that has a pull to it. Like, you are going to feel really tempted by this. And because you're coming into this emotional space and you're trusting yourself and you're balancing your emotions, it's going to put you in the right space to be drawn to and through this. But this is really coming in fast for you. And the Wheel of Fortune. Again, the Wheel of Fortune. It's something replacing something else of the like. So again, let's say you're in finance. You've read your fantasy book, you've listened to your body, you're taking care of, or you've gone to therapy, whatever it is, that is going to put you in the right space to replace one thing with another, or to shift shift gears. You're being prepared for whatever is coming next, and it's hidden at this time. And that could be so vastly different for everyone. Like, we like to think when we watch a tarot reading or when we hear something that we're like, oh, it's this person, or it's this thing, or it's, the options that you already know are on the table. But there are always options that are on the table that we don't even see or perceive. So let's get more clarification about this King of Wands situation. Justice. All right, so this could have something to do with a legal proceeding, some official paperwork. The Queen of Swords. Wow. Okay. A lot of clarity coming in. And the two, this has come up as well. The Two of Swords. We also have two swords here. So I feel that these two represent the two swords. So it's a choice between justice and integrity. That's what it's going to feel like. This feels like rock and hard place. But I'm also getting from here that there's a level of exhaustion. But there's also this building confidence. So this may feel really paradoxical to you. It may feel like, you know, I've built myself up. I'm in a good place, but I also feel the thinnest I've ever felt. I also feel, you know, the heart is maybe not in what it was in before. And there's two swords here. There's two different directions, but there's also always a third path. And so when we come to the Three of Swords, it can be heartbreaking to not choose this or that. But there's another way of moving through, and you get there by going inward, by honoring your intuition. And you can honor your intuition by taking care of your emotional self. You know, the moon does not reveal itself without reflection, without self-reflection. So this could also be like an official thing, an official decision that's made outside of your control. So for instance, you know, reworking of a company, something from the top down, or a legal paperwork going through that does not seem like it's in your favor, or it's asking you to behave or accept something that feels outside of your integrity. Let's get some advice about this. Ooh, flew out. Okay, we have the King of Swords and we have the Eight of Swords. And we have the Four of Swords. In the Eight of Swords, she has not actually been hurt. So what this can look like is when everyone around you is like, can you believe this decision? Can you believe what has happened? Can you, when the general attitude is like, this is so bad, but you're kind of like, you're there. You still got your blindfold on here, right? You've got your blindfold on. You're looking inward. You're not looking outward. And you can see the blessings. You have been through struggles, but you've made it this far. And this is what I'm seeing here, is dropping into that space of peace, of reflection, and noticing how far you've actually come, that you are not going to lose that from whatever decision is made here. I do feel like it's beyond your control, this decision, that it comes from an institution or, like a boss or something above you. But look at all of this sword energy, and even in justice, there's a sword. So it's thoughts, 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 thoughts. And we have the King of Wands and the King of Swords. So this is tempering passion with intellect. Don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself to the horde is what I'm hearing. Or to the hype. This thing that could be perceived as a bad situation could be a blessing in disguise. Okay, let's get you some advice cards and we'll close out the reading. I hope this was helpful. When I do these longer readings, I channel and I don't really know what I'm saying. So I can't really tell if this is helpful or if it makes any sense, but I really hope that it does. Definitely a lot of change coming in for this moon, and things being not so obvious. Okay, so we have Garden Heliotrope. It says, devotion and dreams fulfilled. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. So the moon here, we have dreams, and it's coming in fast, this dream, and this turn of fortune. But with all the water that's present over here, it's like this is what you do to prepare for the hectic trap mess that's over here. And if you can stay in this space, stay in the knowledge that what I'm dreaming, what I'm looking for, what I want to have fulfilled, and this was on the side of love as well, that was the kind of the trajectory. This was the conflict. This was the trajectory that you are actually on. And the place to stay in is that the wheel of fortune is turning. Something that was hidden is going to reveal itself, and it will do that quickly. And you do that by feeding your mind with good stories, by feeding your body with good foods, listening to your body, taking care of your health. Because ultimately, the energy here is divinely guided. Like, you know, whatever Temperance is balancing, that's, your hands are out of that pot. And then we have all this ego over here, all of this clashing and this kind of like exhaustive conflict that it really does feel like it's separate from you. And if you can maintain this here, then this will feel more separate, like that you are, you know, you drop into this Queen of Swords space where you're kind of like discerning and you're not emotionally invested in it in the way that the others around you are. There's a lot of like chatter about how things are being done, or, you know, the injustices, and you're just kind of keeping the bigger picture. Or if you can keep the bigger picture, you're in a better space. Rainbows and messages. When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. Yeah, that was what I was just saying about, like, if you can stay in that perspective of like, this is not the full picture. So whatever people are freaking out about, just like, this is not the full story for me. You know, maybe it is for them. That's their own stuff. We are not worried about other people in this month. That is the big message that has come through. It's like, don't listen to other people. Stay in your own. It's not even about looking in a different lane. It's just like not engaging in conversations about things that are going to drag you into a different space outside of all of this work that you've done on yourself. Okay, and we have Sacred Lotus, Enlightenment. No mud, no lotus. We had Enlightenment for our relationship card as well. So there's definitely some things coming up out of what may seem like a negative situation. I'm air quoting negative. There's blessings coming through that for sure. I just want to pull some additional, what do we want to do? We're going to pull some Making Magic cards. What other magic can we make for our careers during this moon or for our lives? We have Little Luxuries. So it says generates luxurious experience and surroundings. and the Tree of Life. True wisdom and making good choices in life. I feel this. I feel that true wisdom. I feel like this is what it's talking about. This sums it up really nicely, actually. That these little luxuries are going to be part of what helps Temperance do the work of bringing in this stripping away of illusions. And if you can keep in mind that this is what is going on, then you're not over here sweating all of these injustices and these, choices that are being made by other people and really for other people. I mean, they're making a decision for you, but you can decide what that means ultimately. So let's say, an extreme version of this would be like you get fired from your job. But what that does is it frees you up for this other job that you've always kind of wanted to pursue. But it was cooking over here. You needed the Wheel of Fortune to turn in order for that to happen. And you don't get to control when the Wheel of Fortune turns. You just get to control what you do with it. Whether you stay where you are or you allow yourself to move through into this new space. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to book a personal reading, so it's not as vague, my information is in the description box below, as well as links to my yoga and meditation classes. I am also raising money to go back to, a student of mine created a GoFundMe for me to go back to school. So if you would like to donate to that, it goes straight to my tuition. So that would be greatly appreciated. And that's what I have for you. Take care.